Right now, let's go down to Florida. Let's bring in Dan Bongino, former New York City Police Department officer, former Secret Service agent, and the host of Renegade Republican. Dan, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, good to be here.
So this guy came into the country on the diversity visa lottery. It has been suggested that Chuck Schumer, now a U.S. Senator, was one of the sponsors. He was not. However, he was a congressman back in 1990, and during congressional deliberations, Chuck Schumer successfully attached to the 1990 Act, the Immigration Act, his diversity visa proposal, also known as the Green Card Lottery, intended to bring in more people from Europe and other countries as well. The president last night, Dan, suggested we needed more super vetting, essentially. Is he right?
Steve, he's absolutely right. Listen to me. Our immigration policy is suicidal, and that is not hyperbolic. There is no, let me repeat this, there is no constitutional right to immigration. Our immigration policy should have one goal, only one goal, no other goals. It should be to enhance the prosperity and safety of the United States of America. A diversity visa program? Let me give you some numbers here, Steve. In 15 years, in the last 15 years, we've admitted close to 2 million people from predominantly Muslim countries. To put that in perspective, the country only has about 300 million people. How much more diversity do you want? Diversity visa program? How about a United States first immigration program? I mean, really, this is suicidal. This has become a political talking point and not reality. It's time to wake up to what's going on. We're at war here. They're at war with us, and they're not interested in politics. They're only interested in death.
Dan, what got me is you only have to have either a high school diploma or 2 years work experience. If you're randomly selected, you get to come in and have permanent citizenship here in the U.S. I don't know why we even have this anymore, considering the fact that one of the 9/11 pilots applied for this twice. An Egyptian terrorist from back in 2002 came here with his wife. His wife got one of these lottery tickets, and he killed 2 people in L.A. So why do we even have this anymore?
Your guess is as good as mine, Ainsley. You know, we're trying to think like normal human beings in a world that's gone mad with insane politics. The numbers I just gave you, by the way, about the 2 million people on this diversity visa program from predominantly Muslim countries, that doesn't even count for student visas, people we bring in on student visas. Right. So there's more. And secondly, you know, I was a Secret Service agent for a long time, and here's one thing that always stuck out to me, and don't ever forget this if you're watching this program. When you go overseas and you hear about vetting, don't for a second think you're walking into the Syrian Department of Motor Vehicles and getting a list of parking tickets this person's got for 15 years. Don't judge vetting by U.S. standards. The point I'm trying to make is, vetting what? What are you going to ask for a library card in Uzbekistan? They don't have the data systems we have. You can't vet on information you don't have. And a lot of these countries don't have robust systems like we do. This is suicidal, these types of programs.
So let me ask you something, Dan. 5 years in, I don't know how many years you spent on the force. If it was you, or you could imagine the mindset of an officer, which we can't, they're at one call, they get word about this truck out of control and people on the ground. This 28-year-old officer gets in his car, drives over, sets and shoots a guy who looks like he has 2 guns in his hand, pointed in the air, and you look left and right and see nothing but bodies and a bus that got rammed. Talk about the mindset of the officer.
You know, now you see why when you guys are kind enough to invite me on the show and it's about defending the police officers, why I'm so passionate. You know, having spent most of my adult life in law enforcement, these are men and women who, Brian, I can tell you this with no reservations. I will bet you this officer didn't even think about doing it. He just did it. Whereas your first instinct and mine and everyone's right now outside of law enforcement would be to get away, reasonably so. You don't want to get run over or shot. This guy's first instinct is to go towards the gunshots. You know, we had an expression in the Secret Service called, you know, get big. Meaning when the shots start coming your way, God forbid, towards one of our protectees, you get big. You don't crouch down because you're going to eat that bullet. These guys in law enforcement and women get big every single day. And now you see why I'm so passionate about defending them all the time.
Right, and
they deserve our accolades, not our scorn.
But another thing is, they're in the most crowded city in the world. And yet, you know, he was in the street, yes, but in the back of your mind, you're saying, man, when's the last time I shot this? Am I going to be on target, number one? And what am I aiming for?
Well, they're always aiming center mass because, remember, the goal of a use of force interaction is never to kill as a police officer. It's to stop. And the best way to stop what's happening, whether it's someone driving in a vehicle or someone shooting back at you, the best way to stop that action is to hit that person's center mass. That's always where you aim. It's never to kill. That's a left-leaning talking point that police shoot to kill. They never shoot to kill. They shoot to stop. And thank God this officer, guided by the Lord, had the power to stop this right away, because this could have went on a lot longer.
Dan,
Absolutely.
If the president is watching, what's your message to him? What do we need to do differently?
Thank you, number one, for recognizing the threat we're under. You don't get to make the rules of war. Your enemy does. If you go in the boxing ring, your enemy puts glass and coats the outer portion of his glove with sharp glass. You don't get to say, hey, I don't agree with that, because he's punching you in the face with that sharp glass while he's doing it. Thank God we got a president who finally recognizes the threat we're under. This isn't tiddlywinks. This is war. These people want to
Part
kill
of his
us.
immigration reform, he listed this, get rid of the visa, this lottery program. Senator Tom Cotton put it there. Recommended that, and now it's in his program, and basically it was cast aside for some other day on immigration reform.
Yeah, well, that's a damn shame. It's time to, make American immigration great again. It's time to worry about America first and all these political focus group tested crap talking points second. It's time to worry about us and American citizens first. This stuff is over. We're at a serious time right now. We're at war. We better recognize that.
All right. Dan Bongino joined us today from Palm City down in Florida. Dan, thank you very much.